I can't fathom it, why he would do that.
What confused me was is that he was so quick to tell me to go do it, and he was okay with me going to do it, right? But then yet in his heart, he didn't want it done. In his heart, he could have did it himself. It makes no sense to me.
Which would have made sense to everyone else if he did it. That would have I don't know if it would clean the slate, but it would have fixed the problem that everybody had. And by him resisting, it just kept mounting and making it worse. And I think he was so deep at that point, maybe he couldn't make that decision. I don't know. I can't think for him. Putting myself in those shoes, that's a pretty tough situation to be involved in, right or wrong.
I think the move he should have pulled was, to come back, what he should have did was he should have more, he should have thought it through. I think what he did was, I think he defied, he actually got word back to Vic. Like, in other words, I'm not giving him up, F you. I think he should have played it more of a politician. I think what he should have did was, let's say you harbored him and you helped him and now he's your friend, you don't want to get rid of him, right? Okay, so you tell Al Diaco, you say, look, Al, I did have him, okay? The kid's gone.
Yep, I took care of it.
No, you say, I don't know where he went.
Oh, okay.
Not
You're
harboring him
saying
no
he's
more.
gone. Yeah.
Say, if I get a line on him, I'll take care of it. Instead of defying it and going, I got him and I'm not doing it because he's my friend. I'm choosing him over you.
That's not a good decision for anybody right at that point.
Right. So now you're Vic, and I turn around and tell you, you know what, Vic? Yeah, I did have the kid, Say, he got paranoid of me. He took off. I don't know where he went. That's one answer. Second answer is I tell you, yeah, I got him. And I ain't giving him up. I'm not doing it. Well, now if you're Vic, the second answer says,
F you.
you want to pull my card? You want to call my hand? Okay, well, now, the first answer, what do you tell a guy?
Okay.
I did have him, but he's gone.
Okay. We'll find him then, right? I mean, what would they do at
Yeah,
that
try to
point?
help us to find out where he went.
But instead, he chose to go the other route and tell him, no, I'm not giving him up. I got him, but I ain't telling you.
Well, he chose to say, F you, I'm not doing it. The kid Gus, it made no sense how he wasn't thinking with his head, because I'm telling you, he was so whacked down on coke.
That's what I think was taking over. Because you're saying at one point he had said, he thought about it, going, why did I get involved in this? And why did I do that? And now he's getting 10 minutes later, he's bumped up, let's call it. And he's saying, no, I'm not giving the kid up. Forget about it. Because he had a couple drinks or whatever, and he changed his mind and I don't know. People get pretty powerful when they drink and do coke in their minds anyway. So it sounds like he made a mistake in making that decision to tell, Vic, like, yeah, I got him, but I ain't telling you where he is.
I don't know how much time went by in between the time he got the orders to do it and actually how much time went by before they seen it wasn't getting done.
Well, it had to be more than the 2 weeks. Didn't they give him like 2 weeks to get it done?
I think it was longer than that.
Or what? That message allegedly came from the police. They had 2 weeks to give the kid up.
There was a lot of events that happened. I had the inside track on it.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I know he called him when he got out of prison. I know when he killed the agent, the first person he called was John. I know John put him up and kept him for months.
Wow.
And then John went and told Rafi. Rafi went back and told Vic. He started getting pressured. Vic sends the order down to Al Diaco. Take care of this. He goes and tells me I can't do it. You go do it. I go to the house twice to go do it. Once he's not home. The other time there's so much friggin' heat, we turn back around.
Yep.
We get pulled over outside the Hollow Tunnel. We'll get pretty much told.
Pretty much told. Give him up.
Give him up and throw him on the courthouse steps, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the kid disappears. He leaves. Did John tip him off and tell him?
That was my first thought.
Had to.
It wasn't the normal scene. The kids were still doing the normal thing, picking up the food, going, taking the stuff to him. So it was normal routine. Why wasn't he there?
Here's what I believe.
Unless he was tipped off.
I believe was John told him go.
I think you're on to something there.
Oh, thank you. I believe John told him go. Get out of here. Which he gave the kid the right advice. However, See, he flip-flopped too much because one point he's like, okay, take care of it for me. He made his mind up. This kid's got to go.
And then maybe the last minute
Then he
he
started thinking about it, going,
paged
you
the
know
kid
what?
and said, "Code hit the forest." Think about it. I mean, when you told that story originally, I was thinking, man, I wonder if he tipped him off or got a message to him somehow that, hey, they're bringing your groceries. Don't be there. You know what I'm saying? You got to think that at some point.
Well, I really believe that where John went wrong, he didn't go wrong by helping his friend out.
No.
He went wrong by telling too many people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But, you're supposed to trust, another main guy, whatever.
Well, you should be able to trust a couple of people that are close to you. You should be able to. I mean, he trusted you, obviously.
Yeah. I think where he went wrong was his answers back to Vic. Because that's what really counted.
How he answered him back. In what form? Like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
I think he had a good enough personal relationship with Vic.
Mm-hmm.
Where if he would have really talked to Vic himself, he didn't need to go through Al. He didn't need to go through anybody. He could have probably said, hey, get Vic on the phone or whatever. And he probably could have went to go meet Vic. Vic was on the lam. He was in Pennsylvania. And I think Vic would have, because of all the history they had together, Vic would have told him, okay,
Like what? Step aside and let somebody else do it, or just tell him he'll.
I think if he would have did this, I think if John would have, after word got out, I think if he would have told Al or Vic would get back to them and say either one or two things. Either don't worry about it, I'm going to take care of it. And then.
Which would be the right answer.
Do it himself.
Yeah.
Take me with him or take whoever, right?
Yeah, whatever.
We go there and take care of it, right? Because he's the one Gus trusted the most. Gus will meet him anywhere at any time. So you can't tell me you can't get him. You can't get him.
No. He wouldn't have been in the woods playing Rambo at the time.
That's my point.
Yeah. No way. It didn't add up to me either.
Or, which I think is a more risky thing, he goes to Gus, tells Gus take off, goes back to Vic and said, look, kid's gone. Got paranoid of me. He went back to the Chili's because originally I forgot to tell you this. He was with the Bonannos.
Really?
Yeah. That kid was on record, or he was somehow associated with the Bonannos.
Interesting.
There was so much heat on the Chili's because of the relationship with the Bonanno family and the fact that he dated Jerry Chili's daughter. How I noticed was I was very close with Junior Chili's son, Joe Chili.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Not a good guy. Yeah, from...
now, was he associated or?
He was a main guy with the Bonannos.
He was.
He was Junior Chili's, Jerry Chili's brother. It was his son. And he was from the 4th Ward. So when I talk about the neighborhood, 6th Ward, 4th Ward.
4th, yeah.
4th Ward was Cherry Street, Madison Street, Monroe Street, down by the fish market.
Okay.
That was another strong Italian neighborhood.
Yeah, the Fulton Fish Market was all.
You had a lot of guys from down there. You had everybody had a club down there, but a lot of Bonanno guys were from 4th Ward. You had the Chili's. You had mainly the Chili's. You had what's his name, Tony Mirror.
Okay, I remember that name.
Joe D'Amico.
Yep.
You know,
they were all the 4th Ward.
Yeah, all 4th Ward guys.
Interesting.
Knickerbocker Village.
Yep, Knickerbocker Village. I remember that. Yeah.
Genovese had a crew down there, a couple crews. Lucchese had a crew down there. The K&K luncheonette. They used to stay in a luncheonette down there. Tortorelli, who was with Prince Street. He was with the Chili's, I think. If I'm not mistaken, I think this kid was, when he came home, he was with the Bonanno family. I think he was actually with his daughter at the time he killed the agent.
Oh.
Not with her, though. She was on the scene.
But he was dating her.
He was dating her at that time.
He was still hanging out with her.
It was known he was with the Bonannos. Joe Chili always used to tell me how much heat they got. Because right away the agents think that the Bonannos have him.
Of course, that'd be their first reaction. Where is he?
Nobody had an idea the Lucchese's had him. Nobody had a clue.
But Johnny talked a little too much about it, don't you think? And his little crew there, those guys that were bringing him food and stuff, that too many people knew. It didn't work out in Johnny's honor.
Nah, he was just he went nuts. I think the coke.
That combination of booze and coke would give you a lot of nutso.
But the way I seen this thing play out, looking back now, it was the mob treachery at its finest.
Yeah.
At its finest. The treachery. Think about all the events that took place. Okay? Friends betraying friends, long relationships, made guys betraying made guys, orders being given, all behind the back stuff, right? Makes you look back and say, am I glad to be out of that life?
But that was almost every day of the stories you hear. It was always like that. There was a things were just in tumultuous times. Everyone was seemed like they were out for themselves, and they
Late
really,
80s, early 90s?
yeah,
Yeah.
it was a tough time for that. Which, as you said, you think because Gas and Vic didn't and acted the way they did, kind of crushed a lot of things in the mob. It took a lot of out of everyone.
I think about what Johnny could have did. What Johnny could have did was he could have told whoever, got word back to Vic, and says, hey, I'll take care of it and get it done, because they knew he was capable. Carry it out. Oh, they would have been like, okay, that's what they expected.
I
That's
think
what I
that's
mean.
what everyone expected.
That's what I mean by Vic and Gas. You're Vic's guy. Vic made you.
Yeah.
Okay. You're putting him on a spot.
Yeah, you put him in a very awkward position.
Very awkward position. Okay.
And you don't want to put the boss in that position.
I think his last words to Johnny was, shoot yourself. I think that's the last message that went through to him. Shoot yourself.
That's a clear statement.
Sunman, it's always a pleasure.
Haven't been called Sunman in a while. Thank you for that. Brings back great memories.
How long has it been you haven't been called Sunman?
Since probably, well, a name comes to mind if I can bring him up. Roberto Spadoni was our GM for a while, and he gave me the nickname the Sun Man. The Sun Man. That's what he used to call me.
May you rest in peace.
May you rest in peace. God bless.
Salud, buddy. I
Salud.
see you.
See you when I see you.
you.